The Boston Slugger, a retrospective on Golden Age plagiarism. Among the myriad of costumed crime fighters that flooded newsstands during the Golden Age of comic books, few are as legally infamous as the Boston Slugger. Published by the short-lived Cassingle Collective Comics, the character is widely remembered today not for his gripping narratives, but for being one of the most brazen acts of visual copyright infringement of the 1940s. Origins at Cassingle Collective. Cassingle Collective Comics was founded in 1939 by Cassingle, a former pulp magazine distributor operating out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Looking to cash in on the booming superhero trend spearheaded by Superman and Batman, Ingle hired a pair of young, desperate creatives from the local art scene. Writer Milton Garris and artist Sheldon Dombrowski were given a simple mandate by Ingle. They were told to make a dark, brooding vigilante who looked exactly like the guy in Detective Comics, but different enough to keep them out of court. The result was the Boston Slugger, who made his debut in the pages of Northeastern Mystery Funnies number 14 in August 1940. The character and mythos. The alter ego of the Boston Slugger was Patrick O'Bannon, a former minor league baseball player whose career was cut short after a local mob syndicate broke his kneecaps for refusing to throw a championship game. Vowing revenge against the criminal underworld, O'Bannon donned a terrifying costume to strike fear into the hearts of racketeers. Visually, Dombrowski's design was practically a tracing of Bob Kane and Bill Finger's Batman. The Slugger wore a gray, skin-tight union suit with blue-black trunks, boots, and a massive scalloped cape. The only major point of divergence was the cowl. To avoid a direct lawsuit, Dombrowski simply removed the iconic bat ears, resulting in a strangely smooth, bulbous headpiece that gave the hero an oddly unsettling silhouette. Instead of a utility belt filled with gadgets, the Slugger relied on his trusty ash-wood baseball bat, which he affectionately called the Equalizer. His dialogue was famously pulpy and straightforward, with his most iconic catchphrase featured on the cover of issue number 16. He is seen winding up for a brutal swing while shouting, "I'll teach you to mess with honest folks, you no-good racket." The Slugger defended the fictionalized, hyper-corrupt streets of Boston and occasionally ventured down to Providence to bust up bootlegging rings. His rogues gallery consisted entirely of baseball-themed gangsters, including the Umpire, a mob boss who wore a chest protector and called strikes on local businesses by bombing them, and the Spitballer, a grotesque villain who spat corrosive acid. The National Allied Lawsuit. Ingle's hope that removing the bat ears would protect him from legal action proved incredibly naive. By early 1941, Northeastern Mystery Funnies was selling surprisingly well across New England. The book caught the attention of lawyers at National Allied Publications, the company that would eventually become DC Comics. In October 1941, National Allied slapped Cassingle Collective with a massive cease and desist order, followed swiftly by a copyright infringement lawsuit. During the deposition, Ingle famously tried to defend the character design. He argued that the Slugger's scalloped cape was actually a modified catcher's mitt, and that the cowl was merely a tight-fitting athletic skullcap. The presiding judge did not find Ingle's defense compelling. The visual similarities were too blatant to ignore, especially since several panels in issue number 18 were discovered to be direct, line-for-line swipes from Detective Comics number 33. Cancellation and legacy. Facing ruinous legal penalties, Cassingle Collective Comics settled out of court in February 1942. The terms of the settlement required the immediate cessation of all Boston Slugger publications and the destruction of the printing plates. Northeastern Mystery Funnies number 19 was the final appearance of the character. Cassingle Collective filed for bankruptcy 3 months later. For decades, The Boston Slugger was nothing more than a footnote in comic book history, referenced only in academic discussions about Golden Age copyright law. However, because Cassingle Collective never properly renewed their existing copyrights before dissolving, the first 19 issues eventually lapsed into the public domain. In recent years, the earless, bat-wielding vigilante has experienced a bizarre resurgence on the internet. Panels of the Slugger violently threatening mobsters with his baseball bat have been repurposed as reaction images on social media, cementing the character's legacy not as a hero of justice, but as a hilarious artifact of Golden Age comic book bootlegging.